pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Holy Father, thank you for your blessings upon us, for our community and the goodness and encouragement that flows from them, for our council and staff and their time, work, and patience. You give us comfort when we suffer grief. You strengthen us when we are under stress, and you instill hope in us when all seems hopeless. Help us in our work to honor and serve you. Your grace and mercy are everlasting. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. We have a hearty agenda this evening, so we're going to start with item number 1, a presentation of the official affiliate certificate by Joseph Berry with Palmetto Pride / Keep South Carolina Beautiful. Joseph Berry, yay!
Thank you. Thank you, Town Council and Mayor. My name is Joseph Berry. I work for Palmetto Pride. We're a statewide nonprofit that deals with litter throughout South Carolina. Part of my role is I get to oversee the Keep South Carolina Beautiful network, and that is a network of over 38 different affiliates of Keep America Beautiful. And I'm excited today to say that we have officially launched Keep Fort Mill Beautiful.
Yay!
I'll give you a little bit of background on what that means and what that means for your town, but I'll also give you a little bit of doting on this group that y'all have. But what a Keep America Beautiful affiliate does is they are focused around beautification of your town, waste reduction within your town, and addressing litter to end it in your town. All of those things, this group is more than willing and excited to do, and they're prepared to do it. They spent the last year coming up with an amazing board, amazing plan, and amazing action items to make sure that they address these issues in your town, and I'm excited about the work they're going to do. Kind of give you all some information. They're joining a network of over, like I said, 38 different affiliates, but they have over 700 affiliates throughout the nation. We were talking, doing some strategic planning with them, and they were like, "I'd love to do this idea." I was like, "Well, actually, this affiliate over here does this in this town, or actually, y'all should check out this state. They do this awesome job with that." So they've joined an affiliate network of over 700 affiliates and 38 within South Carolina to make sure that they're well equipped and they're I'll leave it equipped to make sure that they're addressing these issues. As of Keep America Beautiful, they've had over 2.7 million volunteers. Just in South Carolina alone, we had almost 31,000 volunteers this past year that address litter throughout South Carolina. Keep America Beautiful beautified over 94,000 public spaces last year, and I'm excited for the work they're going to do in the town of Fort Mill this year to add to that. 52 million pounds of litter, recycling, and debris removed. 1.2 of those were just in South Carolina alone that we were able to track. So that's a lot of trash that we're taking up off the roadways and waterways. And this crew they're excited. They're talking about not even ways to address it before it even hits the street, and we're excited about that. 189 1,000 plants and trees were planted last year through Keep America Beautiful. Palmetto Pride offers a tree grant to our affiliates and our network partners, and they're already talking about how they're going to apply for it next year to get those trees on the ground to make sure that they're addressing with it. Keep America Beautiful also offers a nice re-tree program that helps address disaster areas. And then the one stat that I know Town Council always likes to hear is the money stat. And there's nearly $3 million of cost avoidance last year in South Carolina alone through our network of volunteers and our partners with our affiliate network. That was money that you didn't have to spend on your tipping fees or your crews to pick up trash or your maintenance fees. Volunteers and affiliates like Keep Fort Mill Beautiful are able to engage those volunteers to make sure that that work gets done on behalf of the communities that they love and respect. And I'm excited for the work that they're going to continue to do. This past year, they've worked tirelessly. I've talked with Mina almost weekly at times, but she's been great to work with. We did a little bit of strategic planning I alluded to earlier. I'm talking about, what are some of the goals and stuff. And I was telling them a lot of our affiliates, they get to this point, and this is the finish line. They finally hit their affiliation, and they're excited for it, and they kind of have to figure out what to do next. this crew was already talking about what they're doing next, and I'll let them talk about it next because I think that's part of their presentation. So I don't want to step on their toes, but I do want to say that I'm excited for the work they're going to do, and the work that they're going to be able to produce in y'all's town. And so I want to say today is their affiliate birthday. So happy birthday to them. Every year they get to celebrate the day as their birthday of their affiliate. And so we're excited for the work they're going to do, and the support that y'all continue to give them will only increase the support they're able to give your community. So thank y'all so much for allowing me to come here and speak on their behalf, and the amazing work they're going to continue to support through y'all. Thank y'all.
Incredible, incredible.
I also come bearing gifts. So
Yay!
This is the official certificate certifying them as a Keep America Beautiful affiliate. It'll be presented to them today for them to hang or display wherever they feel the need. But I'm excited for the work they're going to do. And as y'all continue to grow this network, thank y'all for everything y'all do.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Mina, I think you're up next to do a recap for 2026. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, this is most of our committee. We're just missing one person today, so we're excited to speak to y'all. And I will go ahead and say, I just realized as we were going over it downstairs, I think the version of our presentation that we submitted has like a slide missing and a slide out of order. Thank you, Canva, to PowerPoint. So that was my fault for not catching that. So you'll see a little shuffle, but it's
all good.
We got it.
It's all good.
All right.
I'll take it away. Hello, Madam Mayor and members of the Town Council. My name is Eva Dean, and I am the chair of this board. And when I think about who we are, and I know that you have all been waiting probably a year to see the faces, I describe us as plant lovers, anti-litter enthusiasts, non-certified environmental science educators, but mostly dreamers of a greener and cleaner Fort Mill. And as such, you want to advance? I'm ready. As such, I feel like we embody the pillars of Keep America Beautiful, which is our parent nonprofit organization, very well. Particularly the four of them: litter prevention and reduction, recycling and waste reduction, neighborhood rejuvenation, and beautification of open spaces. And now, by the way, this is a recruitment also event, so if you would like to or send somebody to us, we would take them. And like Marina said, we have those really neat shirts to give. So I'm going to let Tyler take over.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Silvers. I'm serving as the vice chair of our board this year. When we came together as a committee, one of the first things that we did was establish our foundation together. And that came in the form of three different aspects. It was our mission, our vision, and our purpose. You'll notice on the screen here that all of these are centered around the people of our town, our broader community. Our mission is to empower the citizens of Fort Mill to take action, lead change, and build a cleaner, greener tomorrow. Our vision, or our picture of future success, is that Fort Mill will become cleaner, greener, and have a culture that's more environmentally responsible. And our purpose, or what we're charged with as a committee, is to provide programming and planning that teaches the citizens of our town how to accomplish this vision, and this mission. Can you go to the next slide? Soon after we established that foundation, we started focusing on, well, what are our action items? What are our focus areas? And these we like to call them the pillars. So we've established our foundation, and now we're going to set these pillars on top. And these pillars will symbolically represent what the community is going to see, the product of what our committee is producing. Our pillars are litter awareness and prevention, natural resource education and conservation, and restoration and beautification. And you'll notice aspects of all three of these pillars throughout our entire presentation this evening.
This one got a little janky, so bear with my numbers. It was right when I sent it, though, I swear. So this is just our path to affiliation, just sort of how we got to where we are now. I think y'all probably recall we had a resolution back in 2024 to get the ball rolling, and then y'all just recently added us into the ordinance because Casey realized we needed to be codified a little bit better. But we've been working on this, as a staff person, I've been working on this since 2023. And while Joseph's still in the room, I think, I want to say that Palmetto Pride has been a fabulous partner to us. Even before we started on the path to affiliation, you know, we have our water goat because of them. We have our environmental sculpture over at Harris Street Park because of the program from Palmetto Pride. We were able to have the Marionette Theater come up and do their Litter Trash It's Everyone program for local children because of Palmetto Pride. So they've been a fabulous partner to us. All right.
Hello, I am Josie Bennell, and I'm a board member. And the litter survey we did in January 2026 for the town was in all 4 wards, and it was a randomized survey. So we got to drive through different neighborhoods, 55 and a mile an hour sections to 25 and mile an hour sections. And the scale from 1 would be maybe 1 piece of litter that might have flown out of someone's mailbox, all the way to 4, which is an illegal dump site. And the average was a 1.8 of the 15 sites that we were able to view, which is really good. But it still gave us where we want to be better. So when we go back next year, the areas we've already noted, we've scheduled cleanups, we want to be at a 1 and keep it at a 1 to keep our town so beautiful.
All right. Hi, Mayor Gwen. Hello, Council. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what we have done so far in 2025 and in 2026. So far, we have planted 2 pollinator gardens, one at Steel Street Park, one at Harris Street Park, and we've kept up with them. So that's the mulching, the weed pulling, the watering. We have worked with Cub Scout Pack 832 to organize an event where the Scouts received their environmental and sustainability badge. For America Recycles Day, we organized an educational event at Steel Street Park, and we educated on recycling, and we passed out recycling magnets that show what can and cannot go into our recycling bins to kind of help our community members know, yeah, this is recyclable, this is not. And then most dear and dear to my heart are the litter pickups that we did. So we had the big litter sweep. That's probably the one that you guys notice in the spring where there's little people groups sprinkled across Fort Mill. We had about 7, 8, 9 starting points across Fort Mill. We had roughly 150 volunteers on one day, and we picked up litter all across Fort Mill. We had the Berry Sweet Litter Pickup. It was the day after the Strawberry Festival, and we all came. We picked up around Walter Elijah Park, and we picked up around downtown Fort Mill. After the festival, people had fun, they enjoyed, but we want to, bring Fort Mill back to its beauty. So that was the Berry Sweet Litter Pickup, and we'll keep that going in the future. And then we had the Santa Sweet Pickup, which was the day after the Christmas parade. Immediately after the Christmas parade. And we had groups pick up around downtown Fort Mill, as everyone left from the Christmas parade. So overall, we picked up 889 pounds of litter across Fort Mill. We had 174 volunteers, and our events reached almost 1,700 people in Fort Mill.
It's amazing.
All right, and I'm going to turn it to...
That's worthy.
Hi, so my name's Danielle Holmes. It's kind of hard to follow Michelle, but I will. We plan in the future to do everything that Michelle just said. We'll plan on doing those again next year. We also are planning on partnering with the Clemson Extension for a Fort Mill Bradford pear bounty. Bradford pears are not native to the U.S., and they have been widely planted everywhere. Although they look very pretty, they can become very stinky. And as many of us know, when storms happen, the branches fall, and it becomes a huge mess. So we are looking to partner with the Clemson Extension. The program is where they can bring up to 5 Bradford pears, and then they are given in exchange an equal number of free, healthy, native young replacements on a one-on-one replacement. We'd also like to continue and expand our cleanup events and our educational events. We want to increase more awareness within the community. Also, based on the pollinator gardens that we've already started, we would love to continue some more, kind of increase that reach. Another thing, and I really think this is an attainable goal, and I wore my bee earrings tonight just to show you that this is an attainable goal. We would like to become a bee city. There are local affiliates in Columbia, in Greenwood, and Florence in South Carolina, and close by in Gastonia and Belmont and Charlotte are all bee cities. So we would love to become a bee city. It only has a couple things that we would need to do. We would need to reduce the use of pesticides. We would need to incorporate a pollinator conscious practice into our city policies and plans. We would host pollinator awareness events, and we would create and enhance pollinator habitats in public and private areas. So we really think that these are doable, and we hope that you all will come on board with us in the future to do those things.
Join us. It's fun.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Dan. I'm the newest member of the Keep Fort Mill Beautiful Committee. Started back in, I believe it was April. And to continue on with what she was just describing, some of our long-term goals here. We're really looking to build the momentum that the committee has already created, and one of our bigger goals would be working with the town to get the Tree City USA designation, as well as the Bee City. That one is a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more involved, requires a lot more resources and a lot more involvement from other groups outside of us. But it feels like it would be a great recognition of Fort Mill's commitment to urban trees and green spaces. In addition to that, we would also want to continue working with the police department on opportunities to reduce litter, while also looking for new mural and beautification spots, such as sculptures and other beautiful things that just make the town a lot nicer. And finally, we'd really like to get more young people involved. And I'd say that goes for everything that we do. They already do a great job at it, but would love to continue with that, with creating a beautiful, Keep Fort Mill Beautiful Youth Council, possibly. And the ultimate goal is to make beautification something that the whole community feels invested in and a part of. So.
So we just wanted y'all to get a snapshot of what we've been up to this past year and what we will be doing in the years to come. Just know that you are invited to come to any of our Saturday service cleanups that will be happening. They start back up in September. And if you come, I will give you a T-shirt. I will. You don't get one until you come pick up trash, but then we'll get you a shirt. And then also the litter sweep, like Michelle mentioned. Litter sweep's a big one for us in April, and I would really love to see y'all out there in your wards leading groups with us. We have a great turnout, and it would be fabulous to have y'all involved. So, thank you. Any questions that y'all have?
So incredible. This just fulfills so many of our discussions and our dreams to bring this forward to our community. So you're making it happen. That is just near and dear, just absolutely priceless to us that you have started this. And yes, we will pitch in. I know, Chris.
I have a whole list of things to follow up, just exactly what you said.
I think Chris and Ben have assisted with the economic, and Alan, the economic development group, has on our Saturdays that we pick up. It's just really sad that it has to be done. I really wish I had a ruler for every hand that goes out a window. But it is an amazing gift to Fort Mill. So thank you for what you're doing, and I do dearly hope that we'll all participate with you. Council?
Yeah, so I have a whole list of great, and all of them have smiley faces by them, but the tree grant I think is great. You'll realize this council is very tree friendly, and staff they probably hear more than they want to about it. Thank y'all so much for the education on what is recyclable and is not. Because I try to wash all the stuff out, do it, and then I ride by the neighborhood, and there's somebody's got old tires and garden hoses, and they just undo what everybody else is trying to do. And also on education for, well, I'd say kids, but also adults. I don't know where they ever got the idea it's okay to throw trash out. I understand some can And I'm surprised that number's not higher than 1.8, because there are certain areas that you can spend 10 minutes in one ditch.
That's exactly right. We had to get a randomized sample, so I'll give Gavin did us some word maps with randomized road sections, and so yeah, there were a couple where we're like driving through Massey, and we're like, yeah, there's nothing in here. We didn't get to go down like Brickyard. So,
Yeah, there's other areas.
There's definitely some areas
Adobe's
that we
is
all know.
terrible.
Yeah. And I just got back from a trip to Ireland, and I was talking to the mayor. They actually have a community pride thing, because they're a little different organization, but they have these little small rural towns, and you can see people out there working at the entrance of their towns. And the guy was telling us, they have this not by province, what do they call those? They're like, not states, counties.
Provinces?
They call them counties
Parishes.
over there.
Yeah.
And they have county awards for that.
Parishes.
So it's to get people involved, and it's all about pride for their communities. And I was like, it was a great, I came back and called the mayor right up and said, oh, we got to do this. This is the greatest thing ever. And she goes, let's do this. You know, so everything y'all doing, there's a lot of passion up here about it. So thank you, and look forward to seeing what happens by this time next year.
Yeah, a long list. We'll have a long list of
You
accomplishments,
have to give a
right?
shout out to the Colonel's Club as well. Being
Yes.
part of the Greenway, we adopted the section between all down to Old Nation Road, the whole length of that, from the dairy barn all the way to the walking park, so 4 times a year.
Y'all picked up 14 bags this weekend.
I know.
I saw them.
Sitting inside the road.
You guys mentioned the cleanup the day of the Christmas parade, and it kind of had a flashback to the candy cane wrappers everywhere. So we do the same thing. Had pockets were overflowing with candy cane wrappers. So yeah, those are. But thank you guys for doing that. Thank you for all that you do. Like I said, the passion that this group has is something else, and it's contagious too. So thank you guys.
Incredible, just incredible.
Well,
Lisa?
and I hope the education piece will continue. We've got so many corporations within the area that I think it's a great time to reach out to them to make sure they see this nice award that we now have, and how can they partner with us? Because I know even the company I work for, we've got sustainability goals and projects that we do, and so we get volunteer hours and get paid to volunteer. So you can count on me for that. I will say, it was mentioned about Massey. Massey, I live in the community, and we do 4 cleanups a year, I think, 3 or 4. And it is amazing how many people and how much that the pride that they take, all ages, to clean it up. So I hope those go into your numbers of how much stuff, but almost as prideful as I am with that, the fact that we have a Strawberry Queen wearing Birkenstocks really makes me feel good. So you're speaking my love language for sure now. I did want to ask, I know, Gordon, you and I talked the other day about the civic camp, and this is a great thing that we could add to that civic camp if we did it for the youth. So just want to make sure that didn't get lost, as well as the comment about making sure the chemicals that we're using within an organization are sustainable, they are healthy for the environment, making sure as we look with our budget that we're putting out there, that we're making the community better and not killing the pollinators. So, yes, Centronilla everywhere you can to help with the, I love the plants. They do great here, and get rid of Bradfords. I'll wear that T-shirt all day.
You can't tell we're interested, can you?
I'm really excited about the Bradford Fairbound Camp. I'm very
Amen to that.
excited, that we'll get more details on registration for that, because public will be able to register and claim those trees, and we will be giving those away next April, so April 2027. And the rain barrel sale is next spring as well, so rain barrels will be happening, so we've got all kinds of good stuff going.
Now, Ms. Mott, I do have a question. With the cleanup, the second Saturday cleanup, are you guys going to do it through the farmer's market like you used to in the past?
We are doing a sign-up genius, and I'm trying to rebrand it as Saturday service, because we do move them around a little bit, like the Christmas parade one. So we're trying to drop the second, just because it gets confusing for people. But we have that sign-up out there right now, so people can sign up. We usually have between 40 and 50 volunteers each time. We do allow people, if they don't want to clean up on the section we're doing, they want to get a bag and gloves and vests from us, they can do that and then go do their own area, sort of like they did at the farmer's market. But yeah, we do them September through June, take a break July and August, and I do creek cleanups during that time. And of course, Danielle is my partner in crime on all of those. We kind of flip-flop who's got which month, who's leading those. So.
Because it felt like through the farmer's market, there was a kind of a sense of purpose, going there, getting the bags, getting the supplies, picking out a section and everything, so.
And we
Just
can
a
definitely look
thought,
at,
yeah.
having, some put together bags available at the farmer's market tent for people who wanna do that, for sure.
Okay, awesome.
I'm doing inventory right now, y'all, I've got tons of this.
Well, and also, I didn't mention it, but the river cleanup, after Helene came through, it was horrible everywhere. And that wasn't somebody throwing out something as much as it just what Mother Nature did to our area. And as much as we're kayaking on the lower half past Riverwalk area, all of it got past there, or people's tubes that, got cut along the way. Thank you for what y'all have been doing in the waterways and keeping them clean. I mean, if there is one little benefit of being in a drought, it makes it easier to clean up some. So thank you, thank you to everybody who took advantage of that time and cleaned up our waterways.
We're gonna be doing the River Sweep in Sugar Creek the first Saturday in October, October 3rd. Registration is open for that as well. If anybody wants to come out, it's a great workout because it's cardio. We're digging tires out of the Sugar Creek. We usually will get between 50 and 100 tires out of the creek in 2 hours. And then after you dig them out, you have to get them out, and it's a 25-foot embankment. So leg day, arm day, full cardio. It's fabulous.
Amazing. Totally amazing. Thank you so
Thank y'all. Yes.
much.
Appreciate it.
So much.
Appreciate your effort.
Congratulations.
Chris Sardelli, did you want to get a picture of them please, if you guys would,
Yes.
Where do you want us, Chris?
up here,
Up there?
please.
All right.
All right.
Will you guys stand up so we're not?
Yes.
So
Yes.
where are you gonna put the thing there?
Wherever I'm allowed.
Anywhere you want.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all, congratulations. Good work, great work. Well, that's a great way to get started. All right, now we have a presentation of Parks and Rec proposed budget for the fiscal year 26-27. Our very own Brown Simpson. Welcome, Brown.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Mayor, members of council, thank you for this opportunity for us to be here tonight to present our kind of a snapshot of our 2026 budget and talk a little bit about next year's budget also too. I think you got a handout that was given out. Chris, you gonna slide it for me as we go forward? Thank you. As we look at this past year's budget, our annual budget was $2,587,470.85. And expenses to date is $2,018,992.25 has been spent. It's been spent. That's almost 82.1% of our budget. We do have 13 full-time employees and about 15 to 20 part-time employees in all aspects of things that we do. I do want to point out, recognize two of our employees tonight, two of our superintendents in our divisions. First of all, our Parks Superintendent Lee Glowney is here, and also our Recreation Superintendent Bob Houston. I know some of y'all have met Bob, some of you have not. He's been with us since January, moved all the way from the Pacific Northwest, and has done a great job for us, hit the ground running. So we're glad to have Bob on our team, and of course Lee's been with us here with the town for about
Forever.
17 years. One of the budget notes is we did move $42,500 back in the fall of last year after we approved this from contracted services to salaries regular to affect the hiring of a tennis manager. We hired Brevin McKinney. I think some of y'all know Brevin. His dad, Billy, was our longtime contracted tennis employee. And we also hired part-time tennis instructors for the tennis program. Every instructor that we have now in our tennis program is a part-time employee of the town of Fort Mill, which is a good thing because we've done background checks on all those folks and they really hit the ground running. Some of our key accomplishments of fiscal year 25-26, one of the biggest ones, I think the biggest one, is we completed the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. We hired, like I said, Bob and Brevin. Our 8-and-under All-Star football team won the SCRPA SCAP State Championship. You recognize those kids at our last meeting here. Our All-Star baseball posted its best district tournament finish in more than 7 years. Our Ozone team finished second in the district. and our AAA team finished third in the district. Ozone is 11 and 12, AAA is 9 and 10-year-olds. Some of our parks and facility improvements that we've done, of course, Walter Elijah Park, which I call the jewel of our park system. We finished a concrete sidewalk all the way around the entire park. We've got new safety cameras and lighting is installed in that park. Steel Street Park, we built a new indoor picnic shelter and added picnic tables there. Banks Athletic Park, our batting cages are to be concreted by the end of August. We actually got those finished today, and that is something that we're excited about. So that we should open those up hopefully by the end of the week. We're going to let that concrete settle and make sure it's good. So that'll help with warming up the teams, whether they want to hit some, and we're excited about that. Millstone Park, of course, we added the new port-in-play safety surfacing also there, and then a new outdoor picnic shelter and tables. I got to give credit on something with Millstone. It's probably been a couple years ago. Lee mentioned to me, he said, you know what would be nice up here is we had a shelter at the top of Millstone Park where people could eat lunch and enjoy downtown Fort Mill. So, Lee, you've been wanting that credit, so I had to give Lee that credit tonight. It does. It really does. It's really added to that park. Harris Street Park, y'all know we added a new picnic shelter and gazebo. Also, too, one of the things we did was a couple years ago, we had a massive rainstorm, if y'all remember, on a Friday night where we had to shut the interstate down. The turf at Fort Mill High School buckled, but it did recede back down when we had that massive rainstorm. That we kind of didn't even do anything to that field, so we were able to repair the fencing back earlier this fiscal year, and also we just added sod to that infield because we want to be able to use that field for practice space for flag football or for youth soccer, and because we have the lighting on there. And then probably the other thing that's excited too is, of course, the community center. The construction is right on schedule, and we're hoping to open that in early winter. We actually rode by there today. We have a meeting every 2 weeks. We got a meeting this Thursday, so being able to go in that facility and see what's being done, it's going to really make Fort Mill proud, and especially for those that went to school there many years ago. Our spring sports participation is next. We can look at our numbers there. If this was spring baseball, we were down a little bit there. Flag football down a little bit there. Soccer numbers have gone down there. Softball increased, and volleyball in the spring was down from 270 down to 260. Softball did increase. Our fall participation numbers, when you look at baseball from last year, was down some. Flag football just down about 5 folks. Soccer down a little bit. Softball increased, and volleyball has exploded. Our volleyball program has taken off. The biggest thing we got to look at next is what can we do for boys, because our girls program has taken off big time, and we're very, very proud of that. Increase about 19.8%.
Before you turn the page,
Yes, ma'am.
do we believe that any of the decrease in participation is related to the county not providing us with the funding that they historically had for our programs?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the complication of a county resident that actually has a Fort Mill address trying to get the money, the stipend that they had offered, to participate in our programs?
Yes, ma'am. We think that's a lot to do with that. And I was going to address that a little bit later on some future
Sorry.
slides on it. But that's okay. That's a great question. It is, we truly do believe what's happened with some of those. And I'll touch on it right now.
Thank you.
Our winter basketball, we had 806 kids this past year participate. The year before that, we had 1,013. And let me hit on that right there. When we started winter basketball registrations on October the 1st, 2025, and we registered for about a month. That is also the time that we introduced Civic Rec, which was our new software program. And Civic Rec has been a big plus for us. And one of the things that we've been able to do with that also too is we've been able to tie into our GIS, so we know if a participant, whether they sign up for youth sports or they sign up, let's say, for a picnic shelter, or they sign up to play tennis, they want to reserve a tennis court. Everything goes through Civic Rec, and we're able to identify whether that participant lives in the municipal town limits of Fort Mill, or they live in an unincorporated area of Fort Mill, or another unincorporated area of the county, or out of state. We got a lot of questions about this when we started this back in the winter because we were able to activate that GIS, and we would have people call us and say, well, we have a Fort Mill address. And we would say, yes, ma'am, you do. You have a Fort Mill address, but you don't live in the municipal town limits of Fort Mill where you pay taxes actually to the town of Fort Mill. So that was a great question, Mayor. And we we've gone through that, and I think we've gotten better with that. We've been able to educate people over the last 10 months on why they had to pay that extra $70 fee. Tennis lessons were down a little bit this past year from $585 to $489. Our pickleball lessons were down a good bit. We cut last year with pickleball when Billy was on staff. We were just able to throw some pickleball lessons in because he had a great interest in that. We're still teaching them, but they're down some. One of the biggest pluses we had this past summer was we had 44 slow pitch softball teams. That's the most we've ever had. Now, we did switch it up some. We still had the men's church, we had a co-ed, and then we had more of an industrial league. But it was a big plus. We actually got City of Rock Hill called us and wanted to know, how'd y'all do that? Why is your numbers up? And we were able to tell them what we did. We changed the format around with that. We talk about pickleball. We did have a new indoor pickleball facility that opened here in the town limits, and they took a good bit of those folks.
And the heat had a lot to do with tennis lessons, Billy. Billy and I talked about that.
The heat's been brutal this summer, as
It
we all
has.
know. Our summer camp participation, our tennis camp, we were down some in that from 243 to 180. Pickleball camp, you can see that one during the summer. Kids on the ball camp was down a little bit. Soccer camp down. Our baseball camp was down a little bit. Basketball camp was up. Instructional basketball league was down. Our volleyball camp went from 0 participants to 75. I give Bob credit with that. He was able to build a rapport with one of the local high schools, Catawba Ridge, and their coach, and that was something that we were able to add new, and it's been a huge plus. Let me mention this. Kids on the ball camp, soccer camp, baseball camp, basketball camp, all those are done by individuals. It's a contract service, so we give them a percentage, and we get a percentage of that revenue. We do have competition here, and if the next slide, when you look at soccer, flag football, baseball, softball, volleyball, one of the things we have is some other organizations that are also offering sporting activities too. Fort Mill United Soccer, Charlotte Independent Soccer, I-9 Sports, Victory Sports Outreach, and of course the Baxter YMCA. Which we do have some local travel ball organizations also too in baseball and softball. Flag football, you've got the end zone sports and some of the other ones I just mentioned there. And of course the pickleball, we just mentioned that, the new indoor facility right above us here at 160 and 21. Mayor, you mentioned, of course, about the funding. York County funding for youth sports, tennis, and camps was eliminated for fiscal year 25-26. In prior years, that funding allowed the town to charge one uniform registration fee regardless of where you lived at. Now, we did charge an out-of-state fee, an extra fee then, but if you lived anywhere in York County, you paid one fee, and that was pretty much the rule across the board for all municipalities.
It was.
Because we had that recreation coalition. The non-resident fee implementation, you can see that what I just mentioned earlier about our loss of funding from the county. The funding change, York County funding was discontinued and not included in fiscal year 25-26. Town council, you guys as a body, last year approved a non-resident fee of $70 for those folks living outside of Fort Mill municipal limits and applied to youth sports, tennis lessons, and camp. And that fee did mirror what Rock Hill and TK also did also. I mentioned about we started Civic Rec back on October the 1st, 2025. And I will say this, like I said before, over the past 10 months, staff has worked to clarify the difference between a Fort Mill mailing address and residing within the town limits. The public understanding has steadily improved with that. So that is good news there. I want to talk a little bit about the proposed fee adjustments for fiscal year 2027. And I'll just go through each one individually. If you need to ask me a question to stop, we can do that. Baseball AAA ages 9 and 10 is currently $95 for those that live in the municipal town limits. We're proposing to increase that to $110. That is to help with cost of umpires have increased, and uniform costs have also increased. TKK charges $110 currently for that.
So how does Rock Hill get away with 65?
That's a great question, and I think that's because they have a heck of a sports tourism program
So
that
they buy in
offsets
bulk?
some of those costs.
So it's the Walmart principle, they buy in bulk so they get lower cost?
Well, we buy in bulk too, and we try to get the best quality uniform we can, but also
Oh, it's a vast improvement.
we bid it out also too. So we try to look at all that. But I think one of the things Rock Hill has done with that is, like I said, the sports tourism. They bring in a lot of funding on that. Baseball ozone is also the same. And at Dixie Boys, we're encouraging to move that up to 125. And you can see the breakdown there. Let me say this about our fees right here. Since we started running the youth sports, when Leroy got out of the business in 2010, that was our first year running that, we have not increased the fees in our youth sports at all. So we've held that cost for the last 16 years. And of course, also too, the price of uniforms have gone up, the price of officials have gone up. So that has increased. Pickleball and tennis daily fees, currently we charge $2 if you live outside of the municipal limits of the town of Fort Mill. I'm encouraging us to move that up to $5. I think that adds value to our courts, to our facilities, and it kind of makes people realize there is a cost to that. We will be open the community center. I am suggesting that we don't charge our residents anything, but for a non-resident to come in just to play basketball, I'm asking you that we look at a $7 fee on that. To me, that also provides value, and also from a standpoint of appreciating and valuing that money that the town residents have put toward that fee, toward that facility. One-day preseason skill clinic, which we're looking at doing some of those this upcoming year. $50. Preseason clinic listed for sports. Non-residents would pay an additional $70. Fort Mill Knights select baseball team. That's something new, and that's my next slide, and I will talk about that. We're a $225 fee for that, which will cover 2 jerseys for that program and a hat. W Bridge Park rental, $50. It's $50 an hour right now, and $250 for the entire day for a field. Encouraging you to raise that up to $60 an hour and $300 a day for the field, and also looking at doubling that for non-residents that don't hold residents inside the Fort Mill. Community Center Gym, we know we're going to be asked to use that facility. Also a $60 an hour and a $300 a day for those that live in town limits. Proposed non-resident rate would be $120 an hour and $600 a day. The community center rooms, which are going to have 2 of those, we're asking you to look at proposing and approving $30 an hour for those that live inside the town limits that they want to use that. And then if you're a non-resident, let's say somebody want to rent it for a birthday party, it would be $60 an hour. So we would double that.
That is a small amount compared to other rentals. I have worked to get rentals for my garden club and looked all across town at available space. That's a very, very reasonable amount.
Yes, ma'am. And then the rest of our youth sports, basketball, flag football, volleyball, soccer, we're looking to ask you to bump that up $5, $80 for non-competitive, and $100 for competitive, and the non-residents will continue to pay an additional $70.
Brian, before you flip over, because I know the community center rooms, as the mayor mentioned, is going to be there's a lot of interest in that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mentioned birthday parties, I think cleanup. So is there going to be a cleanup fee? Now, like, I know there's a lot of adult groups that need a place to meet, and that's one of the reasons we moved aggressively on this project. But, birthday parties, that's all. We don't want to leave birthday cake all over the floor, and so how are you going to deal with that?
We did not include that in it, but it's something we might need to look at.
Yeah, you might want to bake that in.
That's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And we can do that.
Go to Chuck E. Cheese and spend an hour, and you'll have a whole different perspective.
They
So.
still
We can do
around?
that.
Brown, while we're on that too, on the community center, As we're looking at charging $7 for somebody, are we going to have an administrative support at the door as people are walking in to
Yes, ma'am.
support? And does that mirror what we're doing at the YMCA as well?
What they're doing at the Y right now, I think it's a $10 fee if they allow somebody, a non-member, to come in and like shoot basketball for a day.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it's around $10 is what they charge.
We ought to look at mirroring whatever they're doing, given that, the town owns both facilities. So we ought to consider that, please.
Okay, we'll look at that and get back with y'all on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's primarily going to be on the weekends at the community center. We got a lot of questions about that, but is the rate going to be the same, like 7 days a week, or will it be different, more on the weekends, or?
It would be the same 7 days a week. Yes, sir. It would be.
And you list the Dixie Boys League. Do we have a Dixie Girls League?
We don't, but we have a 15 and under softball that we do offer. We've had one or two teams in that's played, and they usually play with some of the other municipalities like Rock Hill, TKK, Clover, York.
Okay.
So,
But the baseball team, we do allow girls to play. It's co-ed, correct?
They
So
can.
can we take boys
Yes,
off
ma'am.
of that name?
yeah, we
Thank
will.
you.
That's just officially the name of that
After
league,
having the
but
girl play? I understand. So semantics matter.
we can look at that, change that.
Thank you.
Y'all have any other questions about proposed fees? We can look at everything that y'all said to, especially about a deposit and everything for like a birthday party.
Yeah, some of the other information, you went through a lot, and I was trying to take notes but didn't want to interrupt you. With the flag football side of things, are we doing, now that they've added girls flag football at the high school level, are our programs mirroring that? So what age is flag football? Is it co-ed, boys, girls? How does that look?
We're still using that model NFL flag football, so the
Okay.
kids get the replica jerseys. They love it. It comes
Yeah.
with the replica jerseys of the team. It also comes with the flags. It comes with footballs. We are co-ed in that right now. We don't have a separate girls' league or a separate boys' league. It's co-ed right
Perfect.
now. But
And what ages?
6U, 8U, 10U, and 13U.
Okay, so that will cover, I would like for us to consider a middle school age to do until the middle schools actually get a team, knowing that we're
think-
doing it in high school now.
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe middle school has it,
I
I
think
don't
middle
know.
school's got it already.
Okay.
And the middle school girls, I think I'm correct on this, play in the spring.
Okay,
So-
I think too, we would have to consider the fields, because we use the fields at the schools.
Yes, ma'am.
And those are not free. We pay a sizable amount of money to the Fort Mill School District to rent their fields, which is reasonable, we would too. But I can tell you right now, it's difficult, because having grandkids in many of the programs you've just talked about, times get changed, fields get pushed because of school practice. It's not an easy situation.
I will say, to address you on that, Mayor, last spring was a disaster. This spring.
I didn't say it.
I know. This spring was a lot better, a lot better. And I'm going to give Bob credit for that, because he's built a great rapport with that contact, the new contact at the Fort Mill School District. And we want to thank, I know this is being recorded, we want to thank the Fort Mill School District for allowing
Absolutely.
us to use their facilities. We couldn't do a lot of what we do without
Absolutely.
that partnership that we have. So we're very appreciative of that.
Absolutely. I mean no harm
Right.
to the school district. I'm just saying it's not without cost
Right.
for us to be able to operate these programs. So when we want, and I don't disagree with you at all, Lisa, we need to offer fairly across the board. But to increase the programs, we have to increase the field usage. And Brownie, you and I both know from the travel leagues, they're begging for field use. And I do think we have to take a long, hard look at this.
Right.
When it comes to the decline in numbers, I also think that what has come into play is the school district's calendar changing. So, we have now
Year-round.
squashed down to 8 weeks in the summer.
8 weeks during the
So
summer.
vacations are very tight. It's hard to get as many camps in as the parents probably would like to do. So it's probably worth, school camps, YMCA camps, vacations, there's not enough weeks to cover it all.
That's a great point. And even with our leagues and everything, because you have that intercession week, the first week of October now.
Right.
You have 3 days off at Thanksgiving. You have 2 weeks off at Christmas. We got another week off in February. and then we got another week off in April. So we try to, once we finish our summer camps, we go right into the fall sports, and we're wide open for another 44 weeks during the year, just trying to get everything in to finish up before Memorial Day. So it is a tight schedule, but I give our staff a lot of credit. They do a good job of managing that and getting all that done.
Well, and I know we've seen some camps be successful on those off weeks during the school year. So, maybe that's a way to shift an indoor camp that doesn't have to be outside to still get the play.
You just brought up a great point that we've been working on, and I'm glad you mentioned that. With our tennis program, Brevin has done a good job, and one of the things we're looking at is offering a camp during those intercession weeks. We're also looking at offering a camp between Christmas and New Year's. We're going to start a little bit later in the day, like a half-day camp. Instead of 9, we're going to do 10 because it might be a little bit cooler out there. That's some things that we're looking at and talking about. How do we think out of the box? How do we get more creative as to help with those
And now
things?
that corporate world's gone back to so many businesses having work from home doesn't work anymore, look at maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday where the core hours of the parents are going into the office might be successful too. So just a thought.
Thank you for that. All right, Fort Mill Nights Initiative. This is something that we've talked about as a staff and something we want to introduce you guys to. It would be select baseball. It's not travel. It's not rec. It's what we call select in between. And this is modeled on TKK's select program, which has run successfully now for over 10 years across 6 age divisions, 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U. It bridges the gap between traditional recreation and travel baseball, keeping skilled players registered for fall and spring seasons. Still have volunteer coaches for select teams, continue coaching at the recreation level. We still have those guys coaching for us, keeping both players and coaches in the rec league. Select players are required to play recreation baseball in the spring while in the select program. This strengthens the talent pool for recreation all-star selection at the district and state competition. Builds positive visibility for Fort Mill through branded uniforms and team identity, and adds program revenue per participant. This is one of the key things. Our department retains direct control of select teams and coaches. Our recreation coordinator, who has a passion for baseball, will oversee the program alongside the volunteer coaches that we would select for that. And I always said this, some of the best ideas you get from other programs or other entities that do something good. And we feel like this has been a good program. Ever since we've been talking about this, actually, last week, Rock Hill also reached out to us and said, we know y'all are interested in possibly starting a select team. We're interested in that also too. So I just wanted to bring that to you. We feel like this would be a great proposal for our program, and especially from a competition standpoint too, keeping those good kids with us if we can a couple more years. I'll give you this example, and I'm not taking anything away from this. When we won the Coach Pitch Dixie World Series, it was Dixie still then, it wasn't Diamond at that time, a couple of years ago, a lot of those kids that came back from that 7 and 8-year-old team did not come back and play with us anymore. They moved on to travel ball, and that's okay. That's their option to do that. I'm not taking anything away from travel ball at all. That's not it. What we're looking at with this program is just trying to bridge a gap in between from rec ball to travel ball and have some kind of a middle just to let people. We've had parents, coaches kind of come to us and say, TKK's done this good. Can y'all look at possibly doing this? So we're bringing that to you, and I'll be glad to answer any questions for you on that. Yeah. Lisa?
I was going to say, you knew I was going to fight you on this one, and it's for many reasons. Number one, I understand about playing at that high level. As you know, my son's team and 2 other teams made it to Little League World Series representing the state of South Carolina. So in addition to the Dixie team we've had some outstanding baseball programs. But when I look about our comprehensive plan and what the community has asked for more of with our recreation program, it hasn't been an in-between select team for baseball. It has been more adult programs, more youth, young adult programs that we can have. It's for senior citizens. There's a lot of other programs that we really need to consider outside of just the youth side of things. I don't see us as competing with the travel ball teams. I don't see us competing with the YMCA or Victory Sports. I think each one of them brings their own value proposition to why the parents are choosing those organizations. What I do see is a lot of input from our community really wanting to have more activities for older adults and different demographics than what we are considering. So I feel like with, as Gwen was mentioning, the field usage that we have and our decreasing numbers, right now, to me, it's not a time to get into travel unless we're willing to do it for multiple sports, not just one sport, one activity. So I am not in favor of this at this time at all. As you know, when I ran 13 years ago, it was because of my passion for our Parks and Rec program and for the youth sports in the community. Back to the FMYAA, Fort Mill Youth Athletic Association, that tried to save parks. I just would like for us to consider some other means of growing our programs besides this.
Now, can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
While I do not disagree on the different programs for more than just the youth, I will disagree with you on that program right there. I think that's a great idea. My son just came through it, and while he wasn't the one to be part of the travel team, but seeing just kind of the poaching of talent from the local to being pulled out of our rec league and going to other leagues and travel ball and everything else, I think this is a great initiative to try to keep those kids in our program and, like I said, and kind of create that year after year with it. So I personally think this is a good idea, and not to take away anything from senior activities or anything else, but to keep our kids here, I think it's a great idea.
I'm in the middle because I see value in having, I used to play softball for Springs when I worked in this building when it was Springs. And we played all the Lancaster teams. We played everyone. We traveled a little bit to Lancaster, whatever. It was a lot of fun. We loved it. But to Lisa's point and to Alan's point, my point is we have to have some division, because it is also not right. I have been to many ball games in the last 2 years, to have a rec mentality and a rec team that we have travel teams using it for practice because they joined the team. That is a whole lot of not fun for a bunch of little kids that are not traveling on the weekends and not getting individual skill sets, and they're knocking them out of the park. I'm scared for the health of the kids in field because those kids are really playing at a different level. So I think it's something we need to discuss. I'm not marking it off, but I do think we have a lot of opportunities. To Lisa's point, I agree. We have been asked about walking trails, which Penelope's working on. I have witnessed rugby matches on the fields at the complex, and lacrosse.
Cricket.
Cricket. I saw adults playing cricket at the complex. So I do think that there's a need for us to embrace, there are a lot of taxpayers that don't have little kids, and we do owe them too. So I think these are great conversations. So let's try to see how we can find some middle ground to do what's right.
And I will say this, one of the things with the community center that we're going to look at is concentrating on senior programming and doing things there. Whether it's pickleball, whether it's bingo classes, you name it. There's all kind of things that we can do for seniors. And that's one thing that we're going to look at as we open up that facility to do more for seniors. We even talked about in-house when we have meetings about looking at possibly doing an adult men's basketball program, or adult women's basketball program, or adult volleyball program. That's some of the things that we're looking at.
I want to play the volleyball.
Yeah, I was going to say, there were pickup soccer leagues at one time where, Sunday afternoons, the field was an open league. Again, I just feel like seniors, and I'm getting closer to that little bracket there, aren't necessarily playing bingo all the time. Some of us want to do a little bit more active lifestyle and still like the competition. Give me a flag football game, I'm all in.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next slide.
Thank
W
you.
Bridge Park Project. We budgeted this year $475,000. One of the ideas we had was the playground adjacent to Field 1 was built more than 20 years ago when the park only had one baseball and softball field. That was the first field we had there. And we built that one too because we had a lot of homes going up out in that area too during that time frame. The budget covers a completely new play structure, new swings, and poured-in-place safety surfacing. A matching grant opportunity from Game Time has been identified in the last 2 weeks. It could significantly lower the town's costs, and we do believe that we've got a good chance at getting that. So just want to give you a heads up on that. Also, I know we purchased more property out there about the possibility of a disc golf course. One of the land that was purchased. Of course, y'all know that the headquarters for disc golf is right across, as they like to say, right across the river in Rock Hill, over off Red River Road on Commerce Drive. We feel like that we can build a disc golf course out there, partnering with this group. It fits well into currently underutilized areas of the park, a sport that everyone can play regardless of age, ability, or gender. A 9-hole course that's schedule-friendly and easy to try. Local players are frequently willing to help with the course maintenance and upkeep. It's easy to learn with lasting recreation and fitness value. And sponsorship opportunities can be explored with Ace Place is the name of the organization now, and other corporate partners to help fund this project. So we're excited about that.
So Brian,
Y'all have any questions about the possible grants?
No.
No, that's awesome.
get it.
And thank you to the Cunningham family. I know they're Fort Mill grown, so I am proud of what they are doing for the community across the nation, honestly. The port in place at Field 1, it's not 20 years old, is it?
It's approaching 20 years, yes, ma'am.
Wow, it feels like it's been done since I was on council. Okay. And Gordon and I have had some ideas, you and I can talk offline too, about as we look at making it a safer park and more usable. You know, I've expressed a lot of concern up at Field 2 and 3 at the turnaround area that we have up there. I'd like us to consider, instead of having that separate playground down at Field 1, potentially making a larger playground up at between those two. We've already got the asphalt area, so it makes it real easy to add to it, I feel like. I'm not an engineer, but, and then possibly making where the Field 1 playground is, make that batting cages, make that a picnic shelter or something for that field to be able to use.
You know, we have a batting cage there.
Okay.
Just left of Field 1 back up
Right.
toward Field 3. So we have that in place. One of the things we would have to look at to see if we add on to that playground between Fields 2 and 3, if we have enough room there
Yeah.
to put that
Understood.
in there. That would be something that we would have to explore because we know we have the room currently where the one is now.
Yeah, I'd love to be involved and know a little bit more before we actually spend the money and apply for the grant. But I do think it's great, and I do hope we will continue to get a lot of sunshade while we're there. I know that's been one of our projects with all of the playground equipments.
That is one thing that we looked at with the possible play structure is adding shading on that
Perfect.
play structure.
Needed.
I'd also believe on both of these initiatives that we have some businesses coming nearby that would like to do some sponsorships. I think we should probably talk to Mr. Pettit or Gordon about reaching out and seeing if they'd like to have a banner for, I don't know, picnic area or whatever we decide. Its co-location is prime for that kind of recognition, and we'll have a walkway over that way. So, I think too, on the disc golf course, don't forget that Winthrop holds the International Disc Golf Championship once a year. It's incredibly well attended. So since we're gonna have Winthrop next door, I think there's some partnershiping that we might try to benefit from. Just saying.
That's a great idea. It is. And actually, I'm gonna give Bob credit on something. Bob's reached out to Winthrop with the athletic department, and we've actually got a volleyball night at the Winthrop Coliseum, September the 19th. Bob, am I correct on that?
All right.
September 19th, all our volleyball teams are gonna get in free, and parents can get in for $5. That's a Saturday night.
Awesome.
Yay.
So put that
That's
on your
wonderful.
calendar. We'll send you more information on
Good.
that.
Well, and
good.
as we're talking about camps, can we get a disc golf camp so I can learn how to throw a frisbee, please? So-
We can look at that.
Thank you. I'll take that.
It'd be a great opportunity for a healthcare company. Yeah, it really will.
Or
Going forward,
Chick-fil-A.
strategic, some focus areas that we've got. We want to focus on community and customer experience. And I won't go through all of that, but y'all can read that. Of course, our athletics, recreation standard, evaluate the program structure, coaching standards, officiating, scheduling, field allocation, sportsmanship, parent communication, competitive balance, and the overall participant experience. Partnership and community relationships, y'all would just mention that. Define roles of schools, YMCA, athletic associations, nonprofits, private providers, sponsors, and volunteers. Identify where partnerships can expand services without unnecessarily duplicating programs. Performance and measurement accountability. We want to build a Parks and Rec manageable scorecard of 8 to 12 meaningful KPIs such as participation, program fill rates, customer satisfaction, complaint resolution, cost per participant, cost recovery, and the registration and facility experience. I will say, since we've gone to Civic Rec, it has been a lot better than the former software that we had, especially for instead of 8 or 9 clicks to register, it's 3 to register now. So we've been very pleased with Civic Rec. Programs and services, evaluate the current portfolio of youth and adult athletics, recreation programs, camps, special events, and rentals. Determine what should be expanded, modified, discontinued, or added based on participation, demand, costs, and community benefit. Organizational capacity and staffing, evaluate staffing levels, organizational structures, seasonal staffing, training, succession planning, workload, technology, internal process to confirm the department is organized to deliver the level of service expected as the community grows. And of course, financial sustainability and cost recovery. You can look at that. Principle for fees, subsidies, scholarships, sponsorships, rental, tournaments. The goal is not to maximize revenue, but to be intentional about which services are subsidized and why. And of course, we're going to ground all this in evidence. And I think the Park and Recreation Master Plan will help with that. A SWOT analysis and survey feedback from participants, families, coaches, and our partners. And we do have a lot of current businesses that sponsor at a certain level for us. And I know this is being recorded. And I want to thank all those that have been with us over the years. We couldn't do a lot of things we do without them. Moving into a strategic planning process. Of course, I said our department looks forward to its next chapter. Staff are moving forward in strategic planning process, once again grounded in the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, a thorough SWOT analysis and extensive survey feedback gathered through participants, families, and coaches. And if you look over on the right, how the process will be executed, evaluate the 7 focus areas, gather evidence, build the scorecard, and present the adoption. And I started by saying this, and I'll end by saying this. I've been here almost 23 years now, and when I came, I was the only employee that we had in the department. And things really changed in 2010 when we took on the workload of all the programming and everything. And I've been worked with different mayors, I've worked with different council members, but one thing's always been significant. We have had the support of this council, and we cannot thank each and every one of you so much. And we're thankful for what you do for us in our department, and we look forward to continuing to working with you, with all of you, and we're working with this community to better what we offer. So I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. This is a very nice presentation. We've received some data recently that has been helpful as we consider where our money needs to be spent and how can we maximize the use of it. And yes, I do want to thank all those that sponsor, and I want to thank the volunteers. We have some amazing, I've been to so many ball games that went so pleasantly. There were no fighting, no arguments. It was, our coaches, our quality coaches, they're there for the kids, and they want to make it a great experience and a safe experience for those kids. So whatever we're doing to help them and prepare them, it's working. And I can't thank our volunteers enough and our sponsors enough for what they do, and you guys. It's a good thing.
Ron, how are we doing getting coaches? how are volunteers looking? Do you have a waiting list, I hope?
We have folks that's been with us year after year, but then also too, depends on the number of teams that we have. We have to sometimes call parents and ask, we need help.
Okay.
You know, so we do that. The volunteer opportunity is always there. We do a thorough background check once a year on all of our volunteers. We run it through our security system that we have. So just like every other organization out, it's hard to get good quality people, but we do have good quality people, volunteers here in Fort Mill.
Yes, we do.
And we are appreciative, and we want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
We can't say thank you enough.
I remember while I was doing baseball and soccer, it was some of the most gratifying work that I've ever done. And even though it didn't pay a dime, it was a lot of fun. And a lot of those kids we still have relationships with. I did want to ask you about the financial aid. I know we were talking about raising the fees that we have, but can you also talk a little bit about what we offer for those in need?
Yes, ma'am. If we have, I've always been a true believer, and it goes back to the value. And if we have folks that are, have a tough time, they might have 5 kids, if they will come to us and sit down with us, we will help them. Now, I do think it's important that you pay something because it goes back to you value what you pay for. So we have had folks that's called us and said, I'm going through a tough time right now. And I'll say to them, if you'll come in and sit down and talk to me, we'll be glad to look and see what we can do to help you out. So we have done that.
Okay. So they just need to reach out to you or?
Me or Bob.
Okay.
So, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you for the diligence in the presentation. Very beneficial, and the hard work. Thank you all. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brown. Appreciate you.
All right, item number 2, and we're going to move into a public hearing as duly published in the aforesaid newspaper, Rock Hill, the Herald, and affidavit number IPL 0363651. Item A, we're going to open a public hearing, second public hearing to enter into a 4th amendment to the development agreement with Charlotte Mecklenburg Hospital Authority. Let the public meeting be opened.
Good evening.
Hi,
Madam Mayor,
how are
members of
you?
Council, I'm Ben Johnson. I have an office in Rock Hill. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Hospital Authority. Our project team is back on, I guess that's the bride side of the room.
It's all the good guys, right?
A thumbnail, we covered this last time. We are requesting that you give second reading tonight to our request to annex 2 parcels that the Hospital Authority has one, it has owned all along since 2008, and it was left out by survey, just a miscalculation, and then 10.9 acres that were recently acquired from the Scott family. We ask that these parcels be included under the existing mixed-use plan, that it be zoned mixed use and included under the existing mixed-use plan already in effect for the 83 acres that Atrium already owns and has owned on Sutton Road. This is without increasing any of the entitlements, without increasing any of the density. And then we would also request, and as part of the proposal, is that we update the term of the agreement and set a new development schedule because we're ready to begin. The request is limited to the Atrium property out on the site. And then finally, as I covered last time, we've made a commitment to the town and to the Carolina Thread Trail to build connectors from the hospital site and to provide parking down to the trail and down to the connector to the trail. So thank you. Be glad to answer any questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. No further interesting comments. We'll close this public hearing. Okay. Now we will entertain a public hearing for ordinance amending the town zoning code as it relates to election signs. This is item B. Chris Pettit. Open the public hearing. This sounds so funny. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a change from in the timing where the signs are allowed to be out from 60 days prior to the election to 30 days prior It also increases the size of those signs from 6 square feet, the allowable size, from 6 to 8 square feet. There have been no updates since first reading approval.
Any questions for Mr. Pettit?
No.
All right, any further interest in speaking? None heard. Public hearing is closed for item B. All right. Council members, you have received the July 27th council meeting minutes, August 10th council workshop minutes, and the August 17th council budget workshop minutes. Do we have any changes, deletions, or additions? I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve minutes, or A, B, and C as submitted.
I have a motion. I have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right, public comments pursuant to Section 2-46 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill. Any citizen of the town may appear before council for the purpose of providing public comments on any municipal matter except for personnel matters. Those who wish to speak must sign in outside of council chambers prior to the start of the meeting. Citizens will be given 3 minutes each to speak. Casey, we have none. All right, thank you. Old business, item A, consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2026-32, an ordinance annexing York County tax map number 661000030 and 65800000106 containing approximately 10.986 acres and to rezone from general commercial to mixed use. Penelope Karagunas. Hi.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is second reading. This is for the annexation. It's eligible. There's no changes from the first reading.
Perfect.
I had just some additional thoughts. I read down through this again today. The MXU that it came in under in the original agreements, I think it was in 08. Have any of the ordinances changed in that many years? The MXU, has that ordinance changed at all? Have we?
Gosh,
adopted
that's
anything
before my
new?
time, because
Right,
I got
got it.
here in 19.
Right.
However, always keep in mind, it's locked because it has a development agreement. So
correct.
that it's entitled what the code was at that time. So again, this annexation doesn't change anything about the MXU. It's just basically to provide them a little bit more room from a design flexibility. And they're very small portions of like 10 acres.
Just think about it, are we still looking at something from 18 years ago? That was my thought, was.
It is,
we
Mr.
still-
Hudgens. I mean, again, when you have these big development agreements and mixed-use projects,
Right.
you do lock in, given the developer security, but also council security of what was approved back then. And there are times that we have done amendments, but again, you do an amendment with the agreement between the council and the developers. But for this one right now, it's the annexation. Later on, the mayor will talk about the amendment of the development agreement.
Right,
But right now, for this annexation,
Right.
they're eligible.
And even though Penelope wasn't here then, Penelope abides by the regulation to the minute detail. I'm
yeah,
very familiar. And it is a good faith process that we go about working with those that wish to build and develop and enter into an agreement with the town. So I thank you for your diligence.
Oh,
You might not have been here 18 years ago, but we're really happy you are now.
Well, thank you.
And just to clarify, so right now it's just the annexing of the two pieces of property.
Yes, sir.
The little small sliver.
And this is
So
the
together,
second
that's
reading.
10.98. Okay.
Yes.
And there's been no public input since the first reading? We've not heard from anybody?
I
Any
have not
concerns?
received any.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
That being said, I'd like to make a motion that we approve old business item A.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thank you. Then we have old business B. You might as well take a seat there, Penelope. You're going to be here a while.
Okay.
Consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2026-33, an ordinance authorizing the town to enter into a fourth amendment to the development agreement with Charlotte Mecklenburg Hospital Authority.
Yes, ma'am. So this is an amendment, the fourth amendment that this project has had over the time period that it first got approved. And it's basically, we're adding the properties that were annexed successively just a couple seconds ago. So we add those parcels to this development agreement. It's also updating the actual development agreement schedule and also adding the part where their commitment for the Carolina Thread Trail by utilizing the future hospital property and working with Carolina Thread Trail to connect with the trail and provide the free public parking.
Tremendous benefit for the town. Thank you for the effort on that. It really matters to all ages and certainly upholds a healthy opportunity, doesn't it?
And
So-
you know it's very close to my heart. So
I know it is.
So to be able to have a company like Atrium, and I do
Yes.
hope other people that want to do business in Fort Mill look for the future by giving us opportunities, because it does take a lot of money and effort to build these trails. So it's very great that we are having this partnership with Atrium Health.
Not just on that, but we certainly are open-armed welcoming you to Fort Mill. We appreciate your investment in our community.
And after spending an hour of my morning having a work meeting, hiking a trail with somebody else, that we said, we're not going to sit and have lunch today. We're going hiking and we're going to have a conversation. I would like to make a motion to approve old business item B.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All righty, thanks, Penelope. All right, we have item C, consideration of the second reading of an ordinance 2026-34, an ordinance to amend the town's zoning code as it relates to election signs. Chris Pettit.
Thank you, Mayor. No updates. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Chris? No updates. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve old business item C regarding the amending zoning code for election signs.
Thank you.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, thank you. Item D, consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2026-35, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 25-26 budget with amendment 2609 for Academy Street. Eric Davis.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is the second reading of Budget Amendment 26-09, which appropriates a total of $4,120,000 for water and sewer improvements on Academy Street. Just a reminder that the town did apply for and receive a grant from the Rural Infrastructure Authority, or RIA, in the amount of $1,320,000. The remaining funds will come from the town's water and sewer cash reserves, which is $2.8 million. There are no changes from the first reading.
Any questions for Eric? No changes from the first reading.
Eric, it was a little hard to hear you. How much did you say that grant was that we received?
The grant's $1.3 million.
1.3. Awesome. Thank you.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve old business item D.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. And we're going to move into new business. New business A, consideration of a resolution 2026-36, a resolution to accept the streets within Arden Mill into the town's street maintenance system. Chris Pettit.
Thank you, Mayor. The developer has completed construction within the Arden Mills subdivision. All the inspections have been approved by town staff. We do have bonds and landscape maintenance agreements in hand. Therefore, they are requesting acceptance of the streets. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
There's a one-year bond or something with that, the first year?
There's a one-year warranty period in which we're holding a bond on that.
Okay.
And we do that with everyone moving forward, right?
That's correct. Yeah, this is our everything is following our standard policy here.
I like it.
Warranty, et cetera.
My biggest concern with this one, as opposed to other ones we've had, is the Arden Mills 2 project that is still looming out. Have we had any changes or updates after it was voted down by this council?
As of today, there have been no updates from the county as far as anything being officially submitted to them. Ultimately, if they were to come back through council, that's a council decision. But as of today, nothing's been submitted to the county.
So I still have the concern that when we approve this, if we approve this, if it passes, that we're going to have additional, these roads weren't designed for those additional homes to be using as they pass through and traveling on. So we're going to be covering the cost of the additional use as the town.
Would they be paved any differently? And do we have any legal leg to stand on, given that they've met our requirements?
So I believe what you're referring to is the road stub out that basically stubs out to the north. I don't know immediately off the exact top of my head whether that road goes all the way to the property line or generally to the property line. So there may be some discretion of staff and council as to whether a connection is made. There would need to be an encroachment permit by which they would, should anyone develop that property to the north, get a permit to touch our roads. So there is some authority there. But certainly understand your point of if a connection is made, it would be county folks potentially coming through the town's road system. And they certainly would not pay anything to do so.
Yeah, right. We barely have any way of recognizing who was who. But it is an interesting quandary, since there has been interest expressed publicly in a process that they went through. I don't know, Barry, they've met all the requirements. That's kind of what I was trying to get to.
The only concern I would have, and thought where you were going to go, is if there's any damage to my construction equipment, who would be responsible for that?
Be the same in any neighborhood, right?
Yeah, beyond the 1-year warranty period, I mean, certainly it's ours to maintain. We know when someone's installing a pool and by chance the sidewalk panels get busted during that process, we know who to go to. If another subdivision's being built behind here, you would have no idea who to go to or how to prove it wasn't, a delivery truck for somebody getting a new refrigerator. So it would be an impossible task for us to place the blame on somebody, given the context of what council's talking about.
But with us, if we own the road, does that give us a voice at the table when Arden Mills 2 were to come?
Yes, there would be an encroachment permit request coming to the town for any connection to be made.
Okay.
As a public right-of-way, I don't know really what authority we would have to say no in that situation. But a request would be made, and we would have, typically in that scenario, you would be talking about how the connection is made from a construction design standpoint, not necessarily a pass-through, construction traffic, that sort of thing.
Okay. Is that something that staff would be able to notify us of as it moves forward?
Certainly is something, if anything were to happen in the property to the north, we can certainly notify you, sir.
I will say that coming from a neighborhood who was not in the town, obviously was not built to code, it's not, say, fair, for lack of a better word, to hold the residents of that neighborhood who've met all requirements and done everything for us not to accept the roads, because it's not going to get any better. If Barry has no concerns with any encumbrances put on it by future development, then I think it's our duty to take those roads into the town. It's not for the homeowners to be responsible for them, if they've put the bond and they've already met all requirements.
Further comments? Hearing none, I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 6A.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
A second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving item 6A, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. All right, new business item B, consideration of the appointment of committee members to the Accommodations Tax Committee. Gordon Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is being presented to full council, or for full council consideration, due to the timing of the ATAX grant application process and the need to review applications and return a recommendation within the required time frame. 3 applications were received, which correspond to the 3 vacancies that currently exist on the ATAX committee. Given the limited applicant pool and the need for a full committee before review can begin, timely consideration will keep the process on schedule. This will allow the committee to meet, review the applications, and bring its grant award recommendations back to council by October 12th. So I say all that to say we are asking for consideration to appoint Adam Smith from Poppy Seed Kitchen, Nick Conforti from Humble Cup Coffee Company, and Melinda Foster from True by Hilton Fort Mill to 2-year terms expiring March 31st, 2028.
Excellent. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve business item 6B, the motion to appoint Nick Conforti, Adam Smith, and Melinda Foster with their terms to expire March 31st, 2028.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right, item C, consideration of setting the millage rate for the fiscal year 26-27. Eric Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. It's that time of year again. Due to the variation in fiscal year calendars, York County requires a notification of the proposed millage rate from the town of Fort Mill prior to August 30th of each year. To date, the council has held multiple meetings where the proposed operations and capital needs were discussed for the coming fiscal year. Based upon the information provided by staff, the priorities indicated by council, and the expected revenues and expenditures for the coming year, the required millage rate would be 87.0 mills per $1,000 of assessed value. We'll be going through the budget adoption process at both meetings in September, but due to the calendar issues, we have to give York County notice before August 30th. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I think I've asked this previous, but I'm going to ask again. What flexibility, if any, do we have to start our process much earlier so that we're not attempting to set a millage rate increase on a budget we've only had one meeting on?
I mean, in the time that I've been here, we keep moving the time up. So the issue's not what we're doing at the beginning of the process. It's the fact that it's the back end here. As far as trying to get everything adopted, we have to give everything to the county really a month before the end of our year. So, I mean, we've had meetings in July and earlier this month, so I don't know what else we can do.
We had a meeting last week, was our first formal meeting on the actual data within the budget, right? I know we've talked about the budget a multitude of times, but as far as a process to do that, it's not your fault, it's not my fault that the county has that date. And our fiscal year carry is set there. Do we not have any opportunity to say we're going to do a different end date for our fiscal year?
Yeah, so Mayor, if I may, staff has had conversations over the last several years about actually changing our fiscal year to a more customary July 1 start date. We could not do that this year because there's just too many moving parts switching from one finance software to another finance software. But that remains our goal. So we hope to be on our new finance software probably in our second or third quarter. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But next year, we will be on our new finance platform, and at that point, we will do everything we can. We'll probably have to pass maybe a 6 or 8 month budget, and then pass another budget that would begin July 1 at some point. So we understand your frustration.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I understand.
I'm not mad. I'm just asking.
We share the sentiment, I'll put it that way.
I can see the stress, and I understand it. But I also know that it's up to us to vote that. And to vote that on one formal meeting, it's not your fault. I'm just asking, is there a way we can make this work for you, for us, and for what the process needs to be?
Ultimately, I believe that final resolution is really transitioning to a more standardized fiscal year.
Thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, and I want to commend staff. Every year, our budget process does get better, and the information gets even more detailed. The metrics, y'all know my favorite word, metrics and details that we get helps us to make a much more educated decision. and a much more knowledgeable decision based on what our staff is doing and the accomplishments that they're making. So thank you to everyone who's been involved. The presentations that we have been receiving from the various department heads also is very informative for us. I would, like the mayor's mentioned, like to have time to react before we have to make a decision on the millage. Because, you know, to Brown's presentation, we haven't dug into Parks and Rec really hard on the numbers or our event stuff. You know, we've touched on it a little bit, but if we want to make a change, we don't know how that change impacts the budget without having to make an amendment to the budget. So I look forward to the day when we are all have our questions answered and new ideas vegged out and played out a little bit before we have to make a decision on the millage. So.
And I second, the presentations this year have been phenomenal. The information collection has been much better, in my opinion. Process is getting there. I just needed to ask that question because I think it's very difficult. This is a recorded meeting, and everyone that watches it afterward, you know, they're going to hear that we're going to vote on something that has to be done by an agenda and a process in the county, but yet we're not approving our own budget till a much later date. So I just think that's a complicated process to describe to our constituents. So anything we can do to better that? Yay.
I just want to kind of follow up. The process has been very good, and we have had a lot. We spent hours and hours and hours on the budget. So it's not like.
This year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I don't. Sure.
Should I mute?
No.
So I just want to say thank you for the time that we've put in on it. It's not, if you watch just this, you'll feel like we're pushing this through. We've spent a lot of effort in the budget. All of us have, and I just want to acknowledge that it has gotten better, and it's not just a snapshot. We've done a lot of work. The mayor's trying to get the two dates to match. I understand that, but it's a lot of work's been put into this budget, and I want to thank everybody for it, from staff all the way up. So thank you.
And I apologize for interrupting you when you said we. I assumed you meant council. I didn't understand you meant the collective we. And you're correct. Our collective we have spent tremendous a number of hours to get this through. I was only addressing an opportunity for us to have more than one formalized meeting before we make that decision on raising the millage. That's all. So I guess what we need is to know, what are we voting on? Narrowed down. Can you repeat it without going through the whole, just, I need a motion, so I need somebody to make a motion.
Right, so the motion would be to set the millage rate as we've, at least the workshop and the meetings that council's had to date. With regards to our CIP, we're looking at a millage rate of 87.0 mils, up from the current millage rate of 83.0. So that's an increase of 4.0 mils. The value of a mill is right at about $245,000. So that would be about $1 million of additional revenue in that one line item. If I need to go into more detail, I'm happy to do so. I didn't know if that's what you were looking for.
Do you happen to know what it means for a person with a $400,000 home?
I can get all that.
That'd probably be pretty good for the public's knowledge.
Sure.
I think to what Mr. Wolf was saying also is there's been a tremendous amount of time, not only with everybody with staff, but as council, maybe we would have liked, ideally, you could always keep raking it over, but there has been, for everyone to know, there's been a lot of hours that are spent reading through this at home and trying to rake through it and see literally where everything is going. You know, that's our responsibility to go line item by line item and make sure it's truly being vetted out as best as possible. So when we do get together and meet and talk about it, that is, you know, we're able to have intelligent conversation based on the homework that's been done. So there is a lot of effort that gets put into that.
And you know, any time that you propose raising taxes is something that needs to be taken seriously, and it's not something that we should take very lightly. And to Mr. Hudgens' point, the budget has been gone through, items have been cut. It was really kind of cut down to essentials, but with a growing town and just the things that we've been going through and the different projects, including, you know, the room that we're sitting in here, all kind of factors into that. So If there's not any other comment, I'll make a motion to set the millage rate at 87 mills and to direct staff to notify York County.
I have a motion to approve item C. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, thank you very much. All
And as a
right.
follow-up real quick, when will we finalize the budget then?
You'll have 2 budget meetings or public hearings in September, 14th and 28th.
September 14th and 28th? Okay, just making sure the public's aware. Thank you.
All right, I think, given that we have an executive session, even though item 7 is for council comments, we typically do that at the end. We do have an executive session this evening. Item A, discussion of the sale or purchase of land. I need a motion to move into executive session.
Motion to move into executive session.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. All right, I need a motion to return to regular session.
I'll make that motion, please.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Please let the record reflect that no votes were taken inside of executive session. With that, Mr. Wolf, do you have anything for the good of the whole?
No, a lot of good stuff. The lead off thing of the clean up the litter and all that was great. It's great, the involvement, a lot of the energy going on with that. So I think that's, it touches a couple of the main topics that we've liked to do, the trees, it's good stuff.
Mr. Moody.
It was an interesting approach to the budget this year. I was really glad that we got all the presentations, kind of see what goes into it. And I've been here doing this about, 11 years now. A lot more seamless, I felt like, this year. And any questions, I emailed, I think, and got back with us, went back with me on that. So anyway, good presentation, good meeting tonight. And as Mr. Helms will say, I'm good.
Okay, Mr. Garrison.
Mornings are getting a little cooler. Squirrels are starting to get nervous. Leaves are starting to fall. Just please, as the leaves fall, don't put them in the gutters. Don't put them in the drains. Don't put them on the roads. Please.
I'll add to
please.
that. Don't put the leaves in the drains. Don't blow the grass in the street. We need to be respectful for everyone else using the same community. It's not just get it off your property. And as far as all of the presentations tonight, I couldn't be happier to think that we have such a great group of people addressing the things that are important to all of us, the beauty of Fort Mill. Ms. Cook.
Yeah, so received several comments over the last few days about e-bikes in the Massey neighborhood. I know it's something that our police department is continuing to look at, our staff, town manager is continuing to review. Ultimately, it comes down to just people being mindful of what's going on. I mean, I had a regular motorcycle pass in the, I forget, the split lane, I think is what my husband called it, in between cars, right on the bypass, flying through. People are going to do not wise things out there, and the police department can't enforce all of it. So I hope parents will make sure they're educating their kids on e-bike safety and that they're being mindful of stop signs, just like I hope every motor vehicle will be mindful of stop signs. So that's one thing. And just want to say congratulations on starting a new school year. All the kids are back in school and colleges, and it's nice being an empty nest again. So.
Mr. Hudgens.
Just excited about Thursday, the groundbreaking for the new fire station.
Amen.
I think based on some solid information from the fire department and chief, doing his due diligence, as he always does, and identifying the need for that on that side of town. Seeing that come along, I think is going to be a very, very great thing for that side of town and for the town in general.
Thank you. Gordon, I do have one request. I had a letter in my inbox from someone that had come to Town Hall expecting to vote here. Tomorrow there is an election of which the town of Fort Mill does not run elections. That comes from the Board of Elections in York. But if you would, please put on all of our social media sites and make our customer service aware of if anyone should come to this building asking for directions, how they might be of assistance. I appreciate that. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion. Uh-oh, you have something else? Okay. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thanks so much.